Okay, so then I believe it's time to start, and whoever would like to join already joined it. Yes, thank you for that, and let's meet each other. My name is Yuri.
My name is also Yuri, so it's easy with us. Thanks for coming after lunch. We understand the stuff. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and today we will be speaking about releasing task and releasing everything in scope of enterprise, and we will speak a little bit more about specific why releasing in enterprise context is a bit different than doing it in smaller organization. But before we will be moving to that, let's learn a bit more about our company. We are doing release management, and we were founded in 2018. Our headquarters is in Poland, in Warsaw, here, like Legionowa Street, so just to be more specific. We have also offices in Ukraine and in States. At the moment, we have 6 applications, and those application has overall rating 3.6 out of 4. This we are proud of, and also we won several Partner of the Year awards, like the one just a few weeks ago in Anaheim. So just we are proud of. And by the way, just to let you know, those guys in black t-shirts are not from release management. They just like came to us for the photo.
Yeah, so as we do our job, so on a daily basis, we speak to global engineering leaders, and we see some trends that we want to kind of share with you here. So we see a clear focus on acceleration. So acceleration is increasing. We see it with our kids, obviously, but when it comes to the business, everyone want to move fast. Enterprises want to move fast. Startups want to move fast. Startups want to fail fast. But like for enterprises, it's becoming like increasingly important to get to the proper time to market to beat the competition. Okay. Technology solutions and architectures are becoming like multi-component, distributed and decoupled, which is effectively very, very good because it's actually a great enabler for the Agile and DevOps team to perform towards those objectives. And we clearly see that Agile and DevOps is de facto standard. Okay, it's de facto standard. You can argue the maturity of it, obviously, but it's de facto standard, and then everyone is actually using it this or another way to get to those objectives to achieve better time to market.
So if you take a look at I don't know why it's not always working, so like if you don't mind, I will be staying here and just click just in case. So then if you just take a look at the standard product development flow, and if we have like DevOps and Agile ecosystem around, so that we could be able to develop user stories, task, fix the bugs, and we can even deploy every single task to production independently without any dependency and make very fast time to market and be very responsive to the customer needs. And actually it's works well. I think you see it in your organization, and I think you experience it working with your products, and yeah, it's working very well. But when we're moving to enterprise context, it's a little bit different situation. So we have the same product, like which we already discussed, yeah, and we can release it very fast. But on the same product, a few teams might be working on. So like it's not mandatory only one team, and we need somehow to connect these teams and make them working together. But it's not it. If we look more holistically, usually in the big enterprise there are a lot of products, and a lot of teams are working on them, and we need somehow to coordinate them and somehow manage it all together, because those products are interconnected. They have a lot of connections, they have a lot of dependency, and business value usually delivered across multiple different products. So we need to deliver majority of them or all of them in order to get business value. So what I'm leading to, that business value will be achieved only when we will be releasing the whole solution, like everything together, or maybe majority of them. So we mostly do not release every product separately, so then we have dependency on this. So it looks a little bit more complicated than previous slide, right? And it's like making another level of complexity. But is it it? Unfortunately, no. There is another level of complexity because a lot of big companies work it in a regulated environment. And additionally to all this dependency, all this management overhead, we need to think about compliance. We need to check what we are releasing, report it to a regulator, get some approval, and do all paperwork before we do release. We need to do testing And it's not only integration testing. It also could be all kind of non-functional testing like performance, penetration, security, reliability, and all other type of testing. So we need to do it for the whole solution just to make sure that we will not break anything and performance will not be degraded. And only when we finish all of them, we coming to production? No. We come into change management team, provide all evidences to them, and change management team will validate, make sure that everything is done according to our standards, everything is good, and only after that we are going finally to production. So you see that in this case, if we will do it for every single task, mind all dependency, pass all this like overhead, so it will be extremely inefficient. So we cannot be able to use the same approach like we had before in this new reality.
Yeah, as Yuri said, basically, it's becoming not practical, correct? So if you try to do it for each and every task, all those checks with regards to the change management, integration testing, some like compliance check is actually not bearable. The amount going to be insane, and then do it across all the teams, all the projects is literally impossible, okay? So obviously the question is, okay, how we can handle it? And the answer is obvious in a way. Effectively, with enterprise, it's all about scale. So if you want to do it at the scale, you simply need to make a level up, and you basically need to move to another level of abstraction that will help you effectively to do it, and this level will allow you to do it like more meaningful, okay? And from this perspective, it's straightforward. It's a level of so-called artifact, okay, or a component version, or component release, or product release. So for the sake of this presentation, we're going to be calling it artifact or the product release. So if you start thinking in context of those artifacts or product releases, then the whole workflow looks much more simpler, okay? You can have a product A, B, C. For the product A, you might have a first drop, second drop on a timeline. You have similar drops for the other products in a place. Obviously, they are interconnected because in enterprises, it's a reality. It's whether it's an API connection or some other integration point or the part of the data flow that's being defined. So you have to bear it in mind when you release it and mind those dependencies to make sure basically you don't break anything. But then what you can do, you can start packaging it into more solution level releases where all those integration checks, compliance check, change management process becoming actually practical. This is where you can do it, and you should do it because this is you have a solution being integrated and that serves some business needs and business kind of requirements.
So what does it mean? Agile and DevOps does not work for enterprise? Who believes so? Please raise a hand. Nobody? Okay, that's good. Who believes that it does work? Please raise a hand. Okay, bigger amount of people. I think all other people are just not sure, like in one or another way. But actually, you're absolutely right. And I'm really happy that first time we have just a few, like maybe a little bit more than 0 hands, only mine. And in reality, it works. But we need to apply it on the right level. For sure, it's very important to make integration during development. And this integration needs to be done at all stages and all levels of organization, like on team level, on product level. Also, it should be early integration at solution level to do contract negotiation, making some mocks, running test, integration test from early beginning. So like every day, at every stage, we need to run it just to make sure that everything is integrated, everything is stable and working well. But when we will be moving further to preparation of our release candidate, to preparing our product version, something which is going to be moved to next phases and run all other checks, we would need to do it on release level, on product release level. And here we need to take this overhead in the scope of enterprise to provide the required level of integration, quality, and standardization. So, just to summarize, we can do task level integration, task level delivery in development phase. But when we will be moving further, closer to release, to approval, we would need to think in terms of artifacts, in terms of versions, and work on more higher level with bigger bricks, because it will make everything more simpler, and we will reduce overhead with making management for every single task.
Scaling it up from releasing the task to releasing the artifacts going to give some additional benefits that's actually quite cool for the enterprises. At the team level, you can keep the flexibility for the guys do and follow the process they want. Some of the teams can do Scrum, some of the teams can do Kanban, some can go some more traditional kind of approaches. It doesn't really matter, being honest. And it's important to keep this flexibility, because the worst can happen that you can push on teams something that they don't like or don't follow. You'd rather pull from them, yeah? So, and from this perspective, you just ask them to assign tickets to an artifact. That's the maximum they need to do, and then they can follow the process they want. They can have their own workflows in Jira, in their project, use the boards they like, etc., etc. But then once you scale it up at the level of the release, then you can have a common denominator. Yeah, you can have a workflow. It might look like that. It might look differently in your organization according to your specifics. This is where you unify. So, okay, in terms of release, this is the flow that we all follow. In fact, you don't need to change anything the way you do, but when we release, we integrate, we basically follow this process, and this is how we do cross-organization. And then when you package it on a level of the business release or solution release, this is where you apply all the integrations and FR testing, some other additional checks, and then obviously some specifics that you have within the business, because every business is different. You basically put it there. So what it gives you a flexibility on a tactical level, on the teams, give this freedom, flexibility for the innovation and variability and check different approaches, techniques, but at the same time you unify at the level of release and business, and then effectively it's a common approach towards the way you achieve your objectives and deliverables.
And actually, everybody in this room fans of Atlassian, right? No? Yeah, I think so. And all of us, or maybe a majority of us, using Jira. So let's think how it looks in Jira, how it should be organized, and how it could be done in an efficient way here. Usually, so each product is developed in separate Jira projects. Okay, well, I know, yeah, it's not always. Like, it's very often done like that, and actually it's trend, but for this presentation, I just want to make a little bit black and white instead of like shadows of gray, just to make message more sharp. But in reality, it's like moving to this like very, very close, and we see this trend. If we are developing each product in separate Jira project, so what does it mean? That we need to store releases somehow. And actually, Jira give us only one choice to store releases within the project. So we are not able to create like, some cross-project releases. We have to couple it because it's done in this way. So then we would need to make some layer of management where we could be able to see all releases for all products. And if we have 50 products and each product has at least 5-10 releases, how many releases we'll get? A lot. I don't know such digits even. So then we would need to have some layer which can help us to manage all these releases across organization, get unified visibility, and be able to understand what is the status, what is the progress, what is dependency. But in addition to dependencies, we need to move level up, and we need somehow compose solution out of these releases. And if we will be composing solution, we need somehow package those product releases into one solution and see status of solution and have some extra items on top of that. And again, the same level of visibility, unfortunately, is not, or maybe fortunately for us, unfortunately for everybody else who are not using our applications, so like does not have this implementation in Jira. And those two layers, like unified release management layer and the layer to manage solution across everything, we implemented inside our application a release management for Jira, which can help to bring this missing part to the system and be more efficient in managing complex releases. So now let's take a look how it's practically implemented.
So basically what we can do, yeah, we can create our like standard Kanban board, yeah, and then put on this board releases. Not the task, we can put them releases. It can be different releases from different projects. It can be specific releases for specific Jira projects, or it can be cross-project releases, the way you define it. And we put a workflow for it, okay? Just common denominator that we use across the organization. Again, it can be customized. It should be your workflow, the way you kind of follow it. And then we can see how those releases move through this workflow from left to right. Hopefully move fast and hopefully all reach to the right part. And then in order to show the dependency or the structure between the solutions and the products, we can create a swim lanes. we can have solutions, we can see the status of solution, and we see how the different components or artifacts within the solution being progressed and delivered towards production.
And as soon we are getting solution, solution also has certain workflow, and it's definitely deserved to have separate board. Because when we take a look at releases of products, we can release everything to production. But our solution might not be integrated, might not be enabled, because we would need to do some integration testing, and it should be separate steps of workflow just to make this integration. It also could be enablement of feature flags, because maybe we can deploy everything, but feature is not available. We need to run marketing, we need to aggregate with some other teams. Maybe we can just educate our customers, and only after that we will enable something what was deployed long time ago, or maybe not long time. We would like to decrease time to market, so that maybe not long time ago. So then it means that flow of our packages should be much more extended and might be different in comparison to flow of our releases on product level. Also, do not forget about some evaluation of result, because we may deliver some business feature, some solution, and we would like to see if this solution will bring us result we expected for. So if it was kind of good business result, maybe is it working stable, so then maybe we can do some post-production analysis. So I'm leading to the point that we would need to have the board, and this board is available, which will show workflow of solutions, and we could be able to track everything on more higher on meta level, which will show workflow of our solution from idea to production, and releasing of the products of releases. It will be just a little bit behind, and it will be just like only part of the whole flow.
Yeah, and Kanban boards are amazing and great for the day-to-day operation. In fact, everyone likes them, and you can clearly see the progress. You can see the analytics, how you're progressing. You can see basically where you're behind. But a lot of our clients also like the timeline view. Putting releases on a timeline and clearly see, what's the overall progress, because you see it. You see it against the today. You see basically the dependency, across dependency between the releases. You see basically how the release is actually structured from the product perspective to the solution perspective. And what's important, you can start also adding some intermediate milestones, which is crucial. From the release management perspective, to understand, okay, maybe you have some integration points that needs to happen some part of time, or maybe you want to structure your testing accordingly, so you need to put it in terms of integration testing, where you start, where you finish, how it dependent on the rest of things, or if you have a long rollout process, then effectively you need to also plan it and schedule it accordingly, so that you do it cross environments or cross clients you have. And this view is not just the visualization. You can also use it as a scheduler. So effectively you can bring items to the view and then just move things around, and then everything going to be automatically changed in Jira. So from this perspective, it's an amazing tool to visualize where you stand within kind of your release roadmap and how you're progressing towards your goals and objectives.
For some cases, calendar is more preferred view. Why? Because we can see what is happening in the next day, week, months, and make it a very focused view. So again, we can see the same entities. We can see our release days for product releases. We can get some releases for our solution. We also can bring milestones, and we can monitor status is green, red, yellow. Also, we can visualize important days. And what is most important that maybe you have seen the situation when management or some external people does not have access to Jira or don't want to open Jira, telling, Jira is for developers. It's like, it's not for us. And in this case, we can make a solution. We can take a link, permanent one, apply some filter, and this link could be easily imported to Google Calendar, to Outlook Calendar, and we can just present the people this calendar, subscribe to them, and always get updates about our current plan to go to production for our product releases, for solutions, and for key milestones. Depends to the level of detalization we would like to maintain.
Release notes is vitally important for the release management. The guys in the room who are part of it, clearly understand that, because you have to keep your audience and customers up to speed in terms of what you plan to release. So effectively, you need to give some heads-up notice, but also what exactly you released. Yeah, what kind of new features, capabilities you added, what kind of technical improvements you did, or some platform changes. Maybe you fix some known bugs in a system or in a platform. So it's all should be properly communicated, and it's a heck of a lot of job. Yeah, so you need to do it nicely, or usually, basically, everyone likes nice-looking documents, visuals, etc. So yeah, you have all this information on an issue level or on the level of epics, capabilities, features, but somehow you need to bring it to those documents. And it's quite a manual job. So to some extent, ability to have different templates at different level, either on a level of product, yeah, or component that you want to do some internal release notes, or on a level of the whole solution release, it's vital. And ability effectively to generate it fast, in automated way, share it with kind of different people within the organization or externally. Effectively, it's quite crucial. So therefore, like having this capability is super important. And I think sometimes even more important than the rest of it, because you have to be visible. Otherwise, basically, what's the point of releasing something that no one knows?
And yep, the first. And also environments. There are some companies who are managing environments of the clients, or maybe of like digital agencies, by the way. Also, there are some companies who are widely spread across different locations, or maybe different brands, like some retailers or any other type of companies. They, by the nature, would like to, or would need, maybe they don't like it really, but have to do so. They need to manage different environments. And it's very important that we will get some inventory of environments in the single place, and environment hub can help with that. So we could be able to define type of environment from lower to higher, from development to production, and also identify a group of environment which will belong to different business lines, clients, geolocation, and having that we can get environments, and like we have only one environment in each swim lane, but it's not limited to, and having that environment, so we could be able to see what is status of environment, what versions are currently deployed, and also we can click at each version and drill down to the context and content and see what is inside this environment. This will help to gain better visibility and also plan a rollout of the versions to multiple environments if we have such business need.
Last but not least, data and analytics are vitally important for any process, and release management is not an exception here. Okay, you need to know effectively where you stand, how you're progressing towards the objectives. And you need to understand, okay, so if you're behind, is it like because the velocity of the teams is not up to speed or the way you expect them to be, and then this is something that can be improved, or you have some scope changes that actually preventing you to catch up with that. And ideally to see it on a level of solution, so that you can see a big picture across organization, but also drill down and see it on a level of specific product or component. To understand, okay, what's happening there and which component or which team specifically holding you behind, and what can be done here. So from this perspective, ability to clearly see the velocity of your teams as they progress towards release, and basically the scope changes that's happening while you trying to release. It's super important. And then it can be twofold. It can be your day-to-day instrument to see as a release manager and monitor and track and react on it, or it can be a representation that you can put on a Jira dashboard and share either with the teams or with external stakeholders, if basically this is what's required in terms of visibility sharing within the organization.
Yeah, so actually that's it what we would like to share with you, and we have a lot more things inside of the product, and we just decided to don't put all of them. If you're interested more, please visit our booth. Also, we would like to thank you that you have made a very tough choice between lunch and our session, and choosing us, and we appreciate that. And maybe just quick summary, like what we discussed today. So we discussed that we don't need to get rid of Agile and DevOps in enterprise. It's highly needed, highly supported, and we need just to build another level of management and orchestration on top of that to be able to, instead of working with every small granular task, we need to switch to the methodology when we will be working with releases, with some artifacts, with product releases, and be able to build solution out of them, and after that apply all coordination and collaboration layer on top of this. And in this case, we could be able to get good visibility, do not miss any dependency, and be able to release this as fast as possible, plus visualize potential gaps in order to make improvement on the way. So if you have any questions, it's the right time to it. So just welcome you to ask us.
Anyone want to use the microphone to ask questions? Let's give it literally a couple of seconds. Maybe someone come up.
Last chance. The question 1, 2. You see, like we can just make some like competition.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, if no other questions, we're waiting you at our booth. And yeah, thank you again for choosing us instead of lunch, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you for having us. Cheers.